child's school will not open. All I want
I
to say.
saw that.
That's all I'm going to say. You know,
I did see that.
it's one of those
ironic.
Do as I say situation. You know, not as I do. Do as I say. You know,
That's a good time for that sound effect. That would be a good time for that.
Well, you know, I see. Here's the problem. I've written all these things down. I'm getting better at it. There it is. Hold on, I got it. There it is. Sorry. I'll get it.
Let's
right.
try it again. Yeah, let's try it again. So go ahead.
No, I'm not gonna try it again. No. I don't want to try it again.
Hey, we're gonna get that on cue. We got to hire a producer.
Yeah, we gotta
That's what we need. We need somebody. We need like Dan Patrick has the Danettes. We need somebody behind the window, just kind of listening and ready to.
I feel like me myself, old time NBA, right? I'm player coach. I cannot do the production and be the star of the show.
Yeah,
I can't run the
luckily
offense.
for you, I'm the star of the show, so you can spend a little more time on the. No, I'm playing. Now, you know what, man?
I got it right that time, didn't I?
I'm gonna get me some.
Huh?
I'm gonna get some hardware, and so I can contribute to the technical advancements of our podcast.
Hey,
but now
I got that part right too.
Getaway podcast with Tony and Sean. Thank you. This is the Getaway podcast with Tony and Sean.
Yes.
You know, we started it off on a little bit of a, I wouldn't say somber note, but definitely talking about some things that are hitting us,
real life,
as a country and kind of keeping us down. We want to pick it up. Make it a little bit more lively right now.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me earlier in the week. They said, "Hey, is this a sports podcast?"
Hey.
I started thinking about it. I feel like we do talk probably 75, 80, 90% about sports because obviously that's our love. We love sports.
Yeah.
But I think this week we wanted to kind of mix it up a little bit. Hey, we're going to give you some sports updates. We're going to talk about some opinions. But at the same time, there are some other things we want to bring to the table. So where you want to go, man?
Look, you were like the driving point in our little pre-production meeting or production meeting before the I don't want to say pre-show production meeting. That's it. And you said you want to talk about some finances.
Yes, I was. Let's talk money. Straight cash, homie.
Let's talk. Hey, man. Dang. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I need to be able to. Oh man, I don't know where it is. I gotta get better.
Yes, get better, man.
Oh, that ain't it.
No, that's not it.
Oh man, that's not it either. There it is.
Not it.
Straight cash, homie.
Cash, homie. Yeah, we gotta work on that, man. No, but what I want to talk about a little bit is, and you kind of hit on this too.
Yeah.
What folks are doing during this time, maybe to regroup, take advantage of the time, and it's easy to say we're going through this. Times are rough, and I get it. Folks losing jobs, folks getting hours cut back, people having to really make some changes.
Right.
But even in this, man, I've seen people that have really dug in and tried to use the time. For example, my wife and her family and a lot of friends here locally use a particular hairdresser, and for years they have, and she's great at what she does, and during this time she really used it as an opportunity to kind of try to take control of her own destiny, if you will, and she's opening up her own salon. She had rented a booth space from another successful salon here locally, and had really built up her clientele. And so if on one hand the thought is, wow, this is a tough time this is a scary time to just go out on your own. I mean, she really just came off of like a lot of folks, with our state being shut down and not having that income for a while, and having to kind of wait for the government benefits to kind of kick in for her, and then the state opens back up and she's able to get back to work with a lot of restrictions. But she used the time to really put together her plan, and so that's what she's doing during this time. And we see cases of that with people really getting creative or getting resourceful. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm all for it. I feel like with the quarantine and they were shutting everybody down for a while, there was plenty of time to improve in whatever you're trying to do. Me personally, I took advantage, and during the quarantine, I went and got another job offer and got a counter offer from the current job and got a pay raise and a new position and
Right.
all those things. And then I said, well, let's do some other things. So I bought some books and some nonfiction books, and I got some recommendations from friends. I haven't done a great job with the reading of the books. I've read one and I've started another, but those are things that I've written down as far as goals and whatnot. And then us together, we formed, well, the LLC was formed before the pandemic. We've been going at it for over a year, almost 2 years. And, we upped up our contributions, and we actually invested in a small company, software company and all that stuff. So we're making moves there. There's all kinds of things you can do. So my thing is, you're going to let this time pass sitting at your house complaining or whatever, trying to entertain yourself. Just go ahead and do some self-improvement. And, my finances, I've dealt with that. And, I hit stride with my Dave Ramsey plan, and then, I had some things happen, so I had to back up and restart a little bit, but I'm still staying focused on that stuff, man. So yeah, the quarantine is a perfect time to get better. Read, educate yourself, take a chance to get a better job, like your friend the hairdresser. Open up a business or shoot for a new spot or something like that, man. And then get your finances in order. All kind of stuff you can do.
So we talk about you mentioned the LLC, and,
Yeah,
and shameless plug right now, High Point Holdings
yeah,
LLC. Basically for folks out there, we this was something we had talked about for a while,
yeah.
and that was kind of putting something together with our folks, our guys, like-minded guys that wanted to kind of pool our money and get involved in investing, kind of diversifying that portfolio, and so we did that, and it's probably what is it, about a year and a half ago now,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit longer than that. Just putting together the plan, getting it official, creating a company, not just having a little investment club, but creating a company and starting to pull those resources, and yeah, we've been going strong with it, just kind of trying to get our plan together
Mm-hmm.
and see which directions. I know we've talked about getting into real estate. We've talked about just diversifying that. I know, like you said, got involved in an early startup of a
Mm-hmm.
software company, and that's pretty exciting because once again, it's a new company,
Yeah.
but it's very innovative and really attacking some of the things that we're dealing with now. So excited to see where that thing goes.
Right.
You know, excited to be doing it with folks that we kind of came up with,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, and yeah. So even though we started that before the pandemic, definitely keeping our eye on that and seeing where that can go. So shout out to everybody that's trying to do the self improvement right now. I think you hit it right on the head. You can either sit at home and complain, or you can, be at home or wherever you're at and brainstorm and try to use whatever resources you have to do something different.
That's right.
So, good luck to everybody doing that. I would love to hear about things that other people are doing. So hit us on social media. Give us some feedback on that. Let us know if you've got some innovative ideas that you'd like to share, or some success stories for yourself during the pandemic, and would love to kind of celebrate you and share that with the masses.
There you go. Shout out to Jeff Cooks and Elvin Blackman, our partners in our LLC as well. Yeah,
Yes,
they're down too,
yes.
man. We're spread out, man. We got guys in Ohio, Illinois, Texas, and Cali. That's all. That's dope. The way we
That's
kind of
right.
coordinated, man. It's not easy. We had to communicate a lot via text and email, and to get things
Mhm.
going. And man, I want to say the hardest part was actually getting the bank account set up during the pandemic. because
Mm.
lobbies weren't open, and then we had to move things around because Chicago. Jeff was like, I can't even get in, but out here we were still getting in. So then we had to redo the paperwork. Man, it's just about stick to itiveness and getting the job done. Put your mind down. That's right. Stick to itiveness. That's the word of the day. I like that production. You like that production? That was right on time.
Love the production
There you go.
on time.
But yeah, man,
Yeah.
shout out to our homies, and man, we still got things going, and yeah, give us some feedback. Send us a message on our Facebook page, or you can message right into the anchor.fm site and ask questions or post how much you like the show or what.
Shout out to my man Ronnie Fancher.
Okay, Ronnie. What's up, Ronnie?
Ronnie, yeah, shout out Ronnie. And the reason why I'm saying that is, we've got a lot of love and support from folks over the
Yes.
last few weeks as we gotten involved in the production of a podcast, and we're not doing anything special. Listen, we are taking our normal conversations minus some of the expletives on the phone
Mm-hmm.
and making it rated PG or G for everybody else to hear and just try to give somebody, something uplifting every week. And Ronnie is a friend of mine, friend of ours,
Yeah.
from high school. Stebbins, shout out Stebbins High School.
Yeah.
Come on, shout out to Stebbins High School. What's up? Are we gonna break out the old alma mater?
No.
No, not right now.
No.
But anyway, we will be ready next time to do
Oh yeah.
that. It's been a while. A
You,
while. It's been longer.
I know the fight song. I do know the fight song.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you can sing it next week.
Okay.
But shout out to Ronnie. Ronnie and I graduated back in the early '90s, and
Long time ago.
Ronnie, I'll tell you what, Ronnie has hit me up every week with some great ideas for the podcast. One of these days we're going to actually have Ronnie on, and I think he could definitely contribute to what we're doing. But appreciate that. Shout out Ronnie and other folks too, man. There have been other folks that have reached out and just congrats and love to hear it and love what you guys are doing, and we really appreciate that. Our commitment is to continue to make this thing tighter and cleaner and better as it pertains to the production, and we look forward to this. I mean, I look forward to Sundays, man, putting this together, and I also look forward to the time when we're going to be doing these podcasts more frequently throughout the week on a regular basis. So shout out, thank you Ronnie, and thank you others that have reached out with congratulatory messages or texts.
Congratulatory messages and texts.
Congratulatory. It's not as good as the stick to itiveness, but
Stick to itiveness, boy.
It'd be the second word of the day.
I got that from a football coach. I want to say stick to itiveness. I picked that up from one of the coaches that kind of mentored me, but I can't remember which one. But yeah, that's what's up.
Glad he left that strong of an impression on you. Now, so along those lines, okay. I talked to a friend of mine this week. He reached out to me. Now, let me set the backstory on this. This is a friend of mine, also from school. He was a little younger than me. We've stayed in contact over the years, not as much as we should have, but it's one of those things where anytime we talk, whether it be text or Facebook or whatever, it's all love. My boy Shannon Snyder. But Shannon and I often have conversations through text or Facebook about race. And, we made the decision not to get real polarizing on this podcast. We want to keep it light and friendly. But I definitely wanted to bring this up because I really appreciate hearing other perspectives. We're dealing with stuff that we've dealt with for many years, and before us. What's that?
Nothing, man. I'm just messing with my camera. Just go ahead and keep going.
Oh, okay, my bad.
I got to turn it off if I'm messing with it.
No, I appreciate the fact when I can have conversations with folks that come from different walks than me or have different perspectives. And I think that's how we get better and learn from each other. So Shannon hit me up this week with a text, and I'm gonna read it to you. It was something to the effect of a book that he was reading, and the book was entitled "White Fragility." And once again, Shannon and I have these great talks back and forth, all respect, but always about perspective. So this book that he mentioned to me, he was really blown away by it. And I'm going to read a little bit about it real quick, and then we can kind of delve into just the conversation. But it's called White Fragility. Why it's so hard.
Robin DiAngelo is the author.
Robin DiAngelo. So this is from Wikipedia. Okay, White Fragility. Why it's so hard for white people to talk about racism. Is a 2018 book written by Robin DiAngelo about race relations in the United States. Yada, yada, yada. Basically coined the term white fragility in 2011 to describe any defensive instincts or reactions that a white person experiences when questioned about race or made to consider their own race. So basically, she recommends against viewing racism as committed intentionally by bad people. And I really like a little bit that I got from him on this book so much, so I look forward to reading it because I think it talks about, and I'm gonna put this in my own words because, like I said, there's a quick conversation on Friday about this, but basically, don't view always the conscious perspective, right? Sometimes people, there are things that are so ingrained that they don't even really notice what it is, and And so I'm glad that I have people in my life that I can have those sorts of conversations with, because I think all too many times we have a lot of surface conversations,
Hmm.
and pardon the pun, but it's not just black and white. There's shades to this thing, and there's things that you have to understand on a deeper level than just, oh yeah, it's that, so it's that. That's not necessarily the case. So, like I said, I love having those conversations. And we all have different experiences, but I implore people to try to look at it from other perspectives, try to get other perspectives, not in an effort to talk people into different stances, but more to
Hmm.
understand where people are coming from, understand, the experiences that they've had. And I feel like if we were to do that more, we would gain a lot of ground.
I agree.
All right.
I
That
agree.
was deep.
It was deep. It was. But, you know, the problem is social media. People are willing to say things on social media that they're not willing to say in a room where you're sitting across from one another.
This is
That's the
true.
that's the problem,
True.
right? So I mean, you can be as over the top on social media, but when you're sitting down face to face, I'm not talking about anybody trying to do physical harm to somebody. I'm just saying it's tougher to have those conversations, make those remarks in a room full of people, and it's a mixed room, right? It's hard because you don't want to be looked at in that room as that guy or that girl. Um, so yes, the conversations need to be had, and I had made my mind when in regards to social media was I'm going to let people sit in their own angst, whether it's black or white. I mean, if you're going to be extremely skewed to one side or the other, I'm just going to let you sit in it. I'm not going to respond anymore. I'm not wasting my energy. There are a lot of people that are just, I don't know why they feel the need to post it, because I don't know if they realize how bad they look, because like you said, they're sitting in their viewpoint and it's comfortable to sit there and knowing that you have people that are in your family, or people that you grew up with that have the same viewpoint. So then there's comfort in that, and they feel okay to go ahead and speak on things without willing to have the conversation, because they'll get dug in, and then it's just the same. That's what I'm saying. You can't argue on there because you're just going to keep saying the same things back and forth. An argument online or
Yeah,
whatever is different from a conversation, like you said, a conversation where
absolutely.
the problem is, and I say this all the time, you got two ears and one mouth for a reason, because you need to listen more than you
I
do than you talk.
tell myself that all the time.
And
Yeah,
people, the thing that drives
yeah.
me nuts, and I had to learn to do this myself because I was this way. I was always ready to respond. Somebody's saying something and I may not agree. I'm formulating my response in my mind instead of listening. So I've had to work on that over the past, I don't know, 5 to 7 years, to just shut up a little bit more and listen. And then after that person is done, so I learned some of this from you. You are very calculating, and I'm not saying calculating in a way of to be accepted, for your response to be accepted. I'm saying in a sense of let's make an educated response, without being emotional, because emotion will make things weird. So yeah, I've worked on that, but I'd love to have these conversations with people that I've seen people who have completely opposite views of me when it comes to politics and race or whatever, but they can make really good points, and I don't disagree with some of it,
And
right?
yeah, that's important to keep in mind, man. I think, I have no issue with strong willedness,
Mm-hmm.
if that's even a word. I have no issue with people um, being very passionate about their opinions or views.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I've found over time, I've made I don't want to say the mistake, but I've tried to post certain things just to create dialogue. But um, learned over the last year or so, that's probably not even good to do, because a lot of times can be very well intentioned just to create some healthy dialogue, but
Yeah.
so many times on Facebook, those things just don't go in a healthy direction. So much to the point where I've had to like turn off the comments
Right.
to things that I've posted once it starts to go sideways because people get really really passionate. I
Hmm.
guess is probably the the best word to use. And sometimes it just kind of goes off the rails. So
Right.
once again, I value being able to have those conversations, and I will have those conversations with anybody. I just have learned, I think that in the public view of social media, it's probably not the best arena.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm all right with
So,
it.
but anyway,
I'm okay. I enjoy the entertainment though. My blood boils a little bit, but I enjoy the back and forth, especially when somebody makes a good point. So I'm okay with it a little bit.
yeah, but in the famous words of Herm Edwards, uh,
Herm,
and I've had to live by these words: don't press send.
don't press
You know,
send.
and I'll tell you, I have typed out responses, um, and erased, retyped, changed a word or two, and erased. And what you doing, man? Putting in your order, man? What we doing here?
What are you talking about, man?
You
Hey,
can't
look.
see. You can't see. I'm. Right now, you're not getting the live telecast, but I'm looking at Sean. I'm looking at his side profile, and I swear I was looking at George Jefferson for a second.
Hold
But
on. This is
no,
my
seriously,
quarantine, no fade, no baldy. This
hey, nothing
don't.
wrong with that, man.
I'm going
Don't
all
even criticize.
natural. And
I love George
you're
Jefferson.
like a
Love George.
you George Jefferson. You are
Oh, you're
like
wheezy,
you're
boy.
like a toddler. You can't. I'm gonna turn my camera off. You can't stay focused. You're making an excellent point, and I'm
Yeah.
listening, and I'm having a conversation with my technical engineer, the person who helped
Really,
me get all set up. Eva, yeah, Eva,
this is
she's helped me, and you are so distracted by what's on camera that you can't finish your point.
well.
Ladies and
I
gentlemen, these are the
know
conversations that we have on the phone all the time. And it turns into,
this.
he didn't have to say nothing about the George Jefferson. I got a bald spot. What's up, son? Say something. Hold on.
Nothing wrong with it.
What you gonna do, son?
What do we tell people? Hold on, but what do we tell people when we see that? It's like, man, listen, just make the decision and go all the way. Just shave it,
This is the
right?
quarantine,
We talked
though.
about
Huh? Hey, I'm
that
following.
quarantine method, right?
Hey, I look. I enjoy listening to. I think one of the smartest people at ESPN, Bomani Jones, and he has
I do like Lamar.
refused. He has refused to cut his hair as well, and he is a big proponent of coming on home. He's been shaving his dome for a while because the hairline starts to recede a little bit, and he hasn't shaved his head. And I shaved once in the quarantine, one time. And yeah, it's long and it's not growing in a certain spot at the top peak.
Hmm.
So what's the
There's a
problem?
peak.
What's the problem, son?
Nothing is the problem. Nothing
Huh?
is the problem.
Look, I go to work one day a week,
Nothing.
and then the next week I go to work 2 days. I'm not shaving, and I'm not cutting my hair. They're lucky to get a shower out of me.
Oh, glad we're doing this remotely, not sitting in the studio.
I got my producer, my technician is clapping in the microphone over here. Come on, you know we're on air.
Hey, we have to pay some bills.
No, look,
We have to pay some bills.
we had to work that out. No, we had to work that out
Work it out. Okay.
because
All right.
we paid a couple bills last week, but the bills didn't get paid. But they didn't run the bills because there's a rule.
Hey, the lights are on.
Oh yeah, the bill is at the very beginning. So we just look,
Okay.
we just going.
That's what's up. Let's talk about Kanye, man.
Oh,
Talk about Kanye a little bit.
I love Kanye
What?
musically.
Yeah, I feel bad for Kanye because I
the first
truly
3 albums.
believe he's got some issues right now.
He does.
He's got some issues, and I think you talked about it. Go, talk about the kind of the metamorphosis of Kanye. You said something to me the other day and kind of framed it up for me, man. And some folks don't really know all that. So tell us kind of where Kanye was, where Kanye went, where he is now.
Oh, look, Kanye was a producer early on, behind the scenes. Jay-Z, right, out of Chicago. just trying to get on, gets on with Jay-Z, and then he's like, I rap too. And they were like, yeah, okay, whatever. So he did his thing, and then he put out his first album. Look, those first 3 albums, maybe 3.5, are spectacular. In my opinion, they're classics, and I still play them on repeat. And then in my opinion, when things went bad, he had an album, 808s and Heartbreak, and that was around the time that he had split with his then fiance, longtime girlfriend, and his mother had passed. And you could hear it in the music. He changed. And then the albums were just different. It wasn't the same Kanye. And I guess I get it that artists grow and whatnot, but it wasn't the same. And then you start seeing these quotes and then all this other stuff. This is long after he got married, but then he starts seeing all these quotes and all this action, like interrupting Taylor Swift and, just being weird. And I think a lot of that is tied to the depression that I still think he suffers from when his mother passed, more so than the breakup with the fiance. So when he lost his mother, I think that's when it all went downhill for him, and the music changed, his behavior changed, and now we got a guy who is holding rallies, political rallies, to run for president of the United States, and I think it's a disservice. Yeah, he do what he wants, but I think it's a disservice. I also think that there might be a small group of people that will throw votes at him, money at his campaign, and it's a waste. I think it's a complete waste of time, energy, and finances, because someone's going to write in his name when that vote could be cast one way or another and determine a real outcome for the presidency. And that's why I think it's a detriment. And I can't stand that he's taking this path. I don't know the reasoning behind it. I don't know if it's because of, his depression, or he's got some mental issues or whatever, why he's doing it. But somebody in his corner needs to stand up and talk to him. I know Dave Chappelle flew out to Wyoming to see him.
Right.
And somebody's got to get him on track. I don't know if he's not taking his medicine or if he's prescribed medicine. Somebody's got to help him.
Well, yeah, right. So Kim Kardashian, West, his wife, she came out this week and talked about that, and definitely alluded to the fact that there's some things going on there that he's battling and struggling with. And so I guess, so ultimately I'm not a big fan of his music now. Like you said, his music was very impactful in the genre for a while. I'm just not a huge fan, but you hate to see anybody going down that path, regardless of how much money you have, how much fame you have. We're talking about real issues and real potential problems in people's lives. So hopefully you can get that straight. Hopefully, they can straighten some things out between them, and just hopefully it doesn't lead to anything worse. But yeah, just all in the limelight, all in the public light, and like you said, there are other effects
Yeah.
of what he's doing,
Look,
and at a time when the country needs solid direction, we have so many distractions going on and so many issues that are being dealt with at the same time, man. People, hey, they got it right, man. 2020, some of these memes that people are putting out about 2020, and if 2020 was a picture, if 2020 was of this, if 2020 was of that, man, 2020 has been something
yeah,
else.
it's been a mess.
There's something else.
Let me add something
And
real quick to this
yeah,
Kanye thing. Let me add this one more thing. He tweeted yesterday an album cover, and it's named after his mother. You can't
new
tell
album,
me
right?
he's still struggling with this. That's what I'm saying, man.
And
Like,
yeah. And so this is the same album that was about to be released, and he had to postpone it because Taylor Swift beat him to the punch.
yeah, I guess so.
You see that?
I guess
Yeah.
so. And
Yeah.
he better leave her alone, because
Yeah.
she's talented, man. She's got a strong fan base, and they'll shut
Yeah,
you
but
down.
they said, her releasing, pushed her to number one on the Billboard, and
Right.
it kind of cut him because it looked like he was just about to do the same thing, and so it caused a little bit of delay. So once again, man, hopefully he can get those things together and go from there. I know they got kids, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people do look up to him as an
Yeah.
entertainer, and also as a person who's kind of delved into different arenas. So
Yeah.
let's talk, since we're talking music. Let's talk verses.
Oh,
Now, for those who don't know,
they don't know.
verse is a platform that is basically began to allow artists to have kind of a an online battle, if you will. And it's been R&B artists, it's been hip hop artists. So the most recent one, and these have been pretty popular. I mean, and they're taking popular people and doing this with there was a 112 Jagged Edge. There was a who else was there here recently before this last one? There have been different ones, and so some of them get more people than others. But the most recent one this week was one that caught a lot of attention. And that was DMX and Snoop Dogg,
Mm-hmm.
and a little controversial, a little more controversial than the Oscar De La Hoya
Oh,
fight a couple years ago.
oh,
Um,
oh.
So yeah, so Snoop versus DMX. Now, I will say this: what I love about these verses is, people kind of hype them up like it's like a prize fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's cool to watch these because it just seems like it's all love between the participants. And then it's really a great thing for us,
Yeah.
people who enjoy that music, because it's really the closest thing we're gonna get to a live concert right now, anyway, in 2020. But I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed watching the interaction between the two. It actually took place in Snoop's studio at
Yeah.
his home,
Yeah.
private studio out in California. Um, Very controversial because they meaning versus did name a winner. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, let me read this from an article on Billboard.com. Snoop Dogg and DMX's versus battle reached the highest level yet. Just look at the numbers. That's the title of the article. And I'm going to read you this real quick. The night received
All right.
1.75 billion impressions across the internet,
Woo!
while breaking Apple Music's all-time live stream record with more than 600,000 concurrent viewers and a total of more than 1.4 million fans tuning in. Just this week, Apple Music announced its exclusive partnership with Versus and simulcasting the battles on both Apple Music and Beats One while offering on-demand streaming. Oh,
Wow.
600,000 people concurrently, and that's just on Apple. There's another one. What is it? On Versus on their on Insta, 525,000 concurrent viewers, 2 million plus total viewers, 26 million in-stream likes. Look, the number is 1.75 billion impressions, dog. Look, and these dudes were hot in the 90s. You're not getting I'm going to start before we get into who won and whatnot and all the jams. You're not getting these numbers from Lil Yachty and Young Thugger. You're not getting the same numbers, son. Hey, look. You're not getting say something. If you got something to say something, because you're not getting these numbers from Lil Yachty and whoever else you think is hot in these streets. Huh? Quavo and them ain't doing these numbers. They're not.
Nope. This is true.
So
true.
the truest form, right?
I enjoyed watching it myself, and I couldn't stay up and watch it because it was late. I watched part of it. I fell asleep watching it, not because it was boring, just because I was tired. Then the next day I went back and watched it again, and then I watched it again.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, these were people that were in the 90s. I mean, Snoop kicked off,
93.
early 90s, late. Was it 93?
93.
Well, even before his when he did Deep Cover.
Right.
Drake, right? That was early
Yeah.
because his album actually launched in 93.
Right.
Deep Cover was before that.
Right.
And then DMX had his time. I was reading something on DMX. I didn't realize this, man. He had like 4 or 5 top ranked albums concurrently.
He had
bam, 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 bam.
He had 2 #1 albums in the same year.
Wow. Wow.
In the same year, son.
Yeah. Yeah. So who'd you think won? Who'd you think won? Not what Versus said. Who'd you think won?
Uncle Snoop.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Easily, in my opinion.
They do, Sean, like what was it, about 19, 20 jams?
The format is 20 songs.
20 songs, and then they had a little overtime deal. So in the 20 songs, unofficially, and I had Snoop winning like 13 or 14. That's what I had. That's what I had.
Right.
And that didn't mean that I didn't like the songs that DMX was throwing out there. I can't even say that he was performing because for me, DMX was like a bad karaoke night because
So, are you going to go off of performance, or are you going to go actually off of the actual song?
honestly, I couldn't get past the performance because I really like I could hear the music and then I could hear him. I couldn't make everything out because it was like a bad like movie. Like try when you try to listen to it and watch the lips, and it's like, it's just not syncing up. That really I struggled with that. I struggled with that. Whereas Snoop, and we talk about Snoop's a performer, right? I mean, he's just for him, it was like it was just all flowed, it was all clean, it was all and I just I got into that.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that was part of it. So the performance was part of it. But the thing about it was, and I looked at this, I just felt like Snoop over time, he's evolved as well, but I just feel like he is, he's transcended and just I don't know, man. I had to give it to him, and it just wasn't close to me. It
Mm-hmm.
just wasn't close.
It, there are songs that DMX played that I was like, oh, I forgot about that, right? But
Yes, true.
but man, like almost every song, not all of them, almost every song that Snoop played, I was like, that's my joint, right? And I feel
Right.
like DMX's audience is a little more narrow than Snoop's. I think Snoop,
Yeah, and he had his party jams, but yeah, I agree. I mean, but I will say this: we got our money's worth,
uh,
and it was free.
it was free. It was free, son.
But because of that, my hope is that they continue to be free, right?
Yeah.
Because now you get people jumping in and you know partnering up and looking to monetize things always. My fear is that the success of this is going to translate into taking it away essentially from a lot of folks because it would be a pay forward sort of thing. So hopefully that's not the case.
Yeah.
I hope that's not where it goes.
Right.
I love hey, if it does go that route, this was a way to send it out, man. Because
This is like that concert back in the day. We went to a Hair Arena in Dayton.
tell them about it, Sean.
It was Ice Cube, Naughty by
Mhm.
Nature, Del the Funky Homo Sapien, Scarface.
Huh?
Who
Going.
else? Who else?
Sheep.
Who?
Black Sheep was there.
Black Sheep.
You can get with
Yeah.
that.
There were like 3 more
Ice
acts.
Cube, Ice Cube had like 3 or 4 acts with him. WC the Mad Circle,
Right.
West Side Connection. He had people with him.
Right.
And this concert lasted like 4 hours.
Dog was like $18, I think.
No, man, it was like $12. It was so cheap. It was so cheap, and it was long, and it was hot. I mean, these were people that were at the top of the game
Yes.
back then in the early 90s.
General seating.
And that might have been general seating. That
Yes.
might have been the last real hip hop concert we had in Dayton,
Oh, it
Ohio.
was so good, man. But yeah,
I don't recall
look.
after.
That's this versus for me, and it was so good. Now, I get up this morning and I see names trending on Twitter.
Mhm.
The name that I see,
Ice Cube and LL.
well, I saw that. I saw also.
Mhm.
I saw. Well, okay. Real quick, I saw a video where Fat Joe was interviewing KRS-One, and KRS-One says LL would not survive a versus with him. And I
Mhm.
said,
I saw that.
I think he's lying. But I also saw this morning Chris Brown and Usher, and somebody said Chris Brown would beat Usher in a versus battle, and I think that's a lie. I think Usher might win off of one album solely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me say, Chris Brown is a young thugger. Chris Brown to me is Lil Yachty when it comes to talking about Usher.
I'd rather see KRS-One against somebody like Rakim.
Yeah.
2 real legends within the same genre of rap,
Yeah.
right? And then I'd love to see like an LL versus an Ice Cube because I feel like they both had so much commercial success
Right.
that would be an apples to apples competition. See, KRS-One, Rakim, folks like that really obviously laid the groundwork and legends, and you can say top this, top that. That is not what I'm questioning. When you take somebody that had as much commercial success,
Uh-huh.
then you put them against someone like that, I don't feel like that's an apples to apples battle.
Right.
I would rather see like an LL and an Ice Cube. I
Well, that
think
would
that
be
would,
good.
yeah, that would be. And you know what? That's how these things start, man. Because at the end of the day, now they're going to start throwing money at people, and you're going to see people coming out of the woodwork to jump in and be involved.
Right.
So yeah,
Dang.
so that's our entertainment tonight segment. That's one thing we talked about, and suggestions have been to put together some segments for the podcast. And I know we're running out of time
Mm,
now. I know
look, that
over what
is
we're
a
doing.
fine. I just hold on. Straight cash, homie. No, that's right. You hear it, straight cash, homie. But that is a fine, ladies and gentlemen. That's a fine. We're gonna start. Look, I'm gonna start a PayPal strictly based on these types of things happening on a regular basis on this show. You hear that? That is the co-host of the Getaway podcast with Tony and Sean in Ohio with his cell phone sound on while we are recording. This was discussed in a pre-production meeting, and I send a message. It's a production note, and it's bing in the background. Oh,
I think that was my bat phone. That was my bat phone. My bad.
bat phone. Huh? We're gonna come up with a list of things. Hold on.
You set me up because you were the one sending the messages.
I know, but we discussed this. We discussed this in a pre-production meeting. Turn your sound off. This is like going to the movies, man. This is the theater. This is art. We are performing on a stage in front of the world, and you have your cell phone on.
You planted the evidence to get a conviction.
Do what?
You did. You did. You just planted the evidence. You said,
there it is again.
Ding, ding.
Now, how hard is it?
No, that's my computer. That's my computer.
Adjust your sound then. I have a computer on.
Listen, man, you are not tech savvy.
Listen to me.
My son is not
ladies and gentlemen, the definition of old age, a sign of old age is when you lose touch with technology and you have a blatant disregard. Let me tell you something. You having the sound on your phone is akin to you walking into Kroger's without a mask. It's just blatant disrespect. It's just blatant disrespect.
Try to ding it again.
Let me tell you something. We're going to start a list of offenses. We're going to start a list of offenses, right? That's going to be tied to the Getaway podcast with Tony and Sean. I am Sean. He is Tony. And what we're going to do is it's going to be kangaroo court. It's not going to be a lot of money. It could be a quarter.
Right.
It could be 50 cents. It could be $1, right? You would not have it. You having your sound on, that's $1. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to start sending, when it gets to a certain amount, we're going to send that money to a charity.
That's fair. I'm with that.
I'm down for that.
Now, once we go video, okay, we are going to implement penalty.
Okay.
For unkept.
Watch your mouth.
Unkept hairlines. I'm playing, man. Now, you know what? My bad. I got to get better. The
disrespect is real.
Okay, so we're at about 55 minutes. I know we try to keep this about 45 minutes. Today we're going an hour.
Yeah.
I think that's a given. We've talked about a few things. One thing I want to hit on real quick here, man. Listen, we ain't hardly talking any sports today.
No.
And I think that was by design.
Yeah.
But I do want to hit on something that I saw today. Okay. And this is when we talk GOAT. It's of all time, right? I saw something today, and it was the most touchdowns of all time.
Mm.
So without cheating, you give me, name me five of the top 10
touchdowns all time.
NFL, yes.
Jerry Rice.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding. Number 1.
Emmitt Smith.
Ding, ding, ding. Number 2.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Ding, ding, ding. Number 3.
Woo, I'm a hot.
You are.
Man, I don't know if I can give 5.
Come on.
I don't know if I can give 5.
All right. Strike 1. Go ahead.
I don't know if I can give 5, man.
Okay. You done?
Yeah, I'm done. I
Out?
don't like your game, man. You put a lot of pressure on me.
Randy Moss.
Oh, Randy Moss.
Randy Moss.
Ah, dang, man.
You want to give another stab?
Hold on, Randy Moss.
Yes. Stay there. Stay there. That's right.
Oh my God.
That's 1 through 4. Who do you think was number 5?
Terrell Owens.
Yes, sir. Ding, 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 ding,
Man,
ding.
see, I just need a little nudge.
So I look at that, and I'm like, wow. And then it reminded me. And Terrell Owens wasn't even a first-time Hall of Famer.
No.
What a travesty.
It's the baggage.
Yeah, you know what? I don't even care.
Let me tell you something else. Did you see?
The man wasn't breaking laws.
No.
I don't care if you like him or not.
Right.
He is in the top 5 all-time touchdowns in the NFL, and you don't put this man on the first ballot?
That's right.
Come on, folks.
And
we gotta get better.
Did you see that video this past week?
Oh, him right, Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
He can still go.
Let me tell you something. He's 46 years old and he ran a 4.6.
Hey,
No.
You know
a 4.4.
I think your boy Andy Reid
You might sign him.
might sign him. That's coming from nowhere but me saying, because even though
Ridiculous.
they had those issues in Philly, word on the street is Reid loves T.O.
Yeah, he loves him. Yeah.
So I would love to see that at 46 years old. Now, granted, I remember when Jerry Rice came back and tried to come back, kind of like, LeBron and that hairline that he was having coming back week after week, game after game.
And cornrows pushed back.
Yeah, man. But I would love to see that. I'd love to see. So I'm gonna round up the top 10 here, just off this list real quick. So
Okay.
Marcus Allen, Marshall Faulk, all catches, touchdowns, Carter, Middletown, Ohio, own Marvin Harrison, and great Jim Brown.
Wow. Jim Brown's still in the top 10.
Yes, sir.
All these years, all these great players, Jim Brown is still in the top 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oof, that's a list, man. So yeah, this list of most touchdowns all time, man. It's that's some hot names, man.
It's nice.
Hot names. I'm hoping we have NFL, man. It's gonna look different.
Yeah.
It's gonna look a lot different. But they're gonna try. There's just too much money in the NFL, man. Not have the NFL.
Yeah.
I'll have it. College.
Look,
I'm losing hope.
you just got to be
Losing hope.
It's gonna be hard, man.
Every conference that cancels, I'm losing hope.
It's gonna be hard.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, what's up, man? How you want to close it out this week?
I just want to say, I want to throw in from last week when we talk about hip hop producer. I want to make a change to my selection. I want to add Rick Rubin to the black delegation. That's our draft as GOAT hip hop producer, Rick Rubin. And also, I just saw versus. There's a possibility we're going to see JD and Diddy. Who you got?
Oh, wow. I will tell you. That one, oh my goodness. But you can't just do 20. If you did that, you got to extend it.
It's be hard.
You got to extend it. 20. Oh my gosh. And then what would be Diddy's, what would be his angle? Because would he take it hip hop, right? Or would he take it R&B?
They both can do that.
Both can do that, but I would love to see that. I would love to see that. That I think would be as big as the Snoop DMX and could be bigger.
Yeah.
Because of how much of an influence those guys have had in music.
Diddy gonna be dancing all over that studio, man.
Take that
Say words, son.
word, son.